My mother tries to seduce my husband every time he comes home. The story I received tonight honestly left me uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, because there is something deeply disturbing when betrayal or tension comes from your own family. Andrea writes to us, and it goes like this. Andrea's story, competition for attention. I never thought I would end up feeling jealous of my own mother. It is still hard for me to write that sentence because it sounds sickening. For a long time, I thought it was all in my head. I thought I was exaggerating, that I was just being insecure. But after what happened 3 weeks ago, I no longer have any doubts. My mother is trying to seduce my husband, and the worst part of all is that she does it right in front of me. My name is Andrea, I am 36 years old, and I have been married to my husband Maurizio for 8 years. We have a 6-year-old daughter, and up until recently, I would have sworn my family was completely normal. Sure, my mother was always complicated, extremely complicated. Her name is Patricia, she is 58 years old, and her entire life she has been the type of woman who constantly needs attention. She was always very attractive, one of those women who walks into a room and automatically wants to be the center of everything. When I was a teenager, I honestly admired that. But growing up, I started to notice strange things. My mother was competing with me. I know that sounds horrible, but it was real. If I bought a nice dress, she would say it looked better on her. If someone complimented me, she immediately found a way to make the conversation about herself. Even when I was a child and had friends over, my mom would try to get more attention than I did. But you normalize things when you grow up around them, so I never thought too much about it. Until she met Maurizio, crossing the line. I remember perfectly how she reacted the first time she saw him. She hugged him for far too long and said, "Wow, Andrea sure got lucky." And then she added, "If I were 20 years younger, I'd steal you away." Everyone laughed, including Mauricio, and I laughed too because it seemed like a joke. But that was the first of many things. Over time, my mom started behaving strangely around him. Every time she came to our house, she would overdress dramatically. Heavy makeup, strong perfume, tight dresses. And I'm not talking about just looking nice. I'm talking about a bizarre, highly intentional level of effort. Furthermore, she touched Mauricio a lot. She would grab his arm, adjust his shirt, touch his chest while talking, and always find excuses to get physically close to him. At first, Mauricio didn't even seem to notice, or maybe he pretended not to. I don't know. But I saw it, and I started to feel incredibly uncomfortable. I remember a family dinner where my mom literally sat next to Maurizio the entire night. She didn't even let me sit next to my own husband. During dinner, she kept saying things like, "Men like you don't exist anymore. I wish I had found someone like you. I'm so envious of Andrea." It was all accompanied by lingering, intense stares. The escalation. That night, I told Mauricio that my mom was making me uncomfortable, and he responded with something that made me feel even worse. He told me, "Honey, I think you're exaggerating. That's just how your mom is." And yes, that was how my mom was. That was precisely the problem. My mom always crossed boundaries, but this time it wasn't with just any man. It was with my husband. Over time, things got worse. My mom started texting him directly, supposedly about trivial things, tech questions, photos of recipes, videos, absurd stuff. But it became more and more frequent, and something inside me began to unravel. One day, I saw a message from her that read, "Your wife doesn't deserve you." When I asked Mauricio why my mom would write something like that, he got incredibly uncomfortable. And that scared me. For the first time, I felt real fear, not just toward my mom, but also regarding what Mauricio might think of this whole situation. He swore he never played along, and honestly, I want to believe him. But there is something deeply humiliating about feeling like your own mother views you as romantic competition. The breaking point Everything exploded 3 weeks ago. My mom came over to our house on a Sunday. Mauricio was fixing something in the backyard while I was giving our daughter a bath. At one point, I went downstairs because I forgot my phone in the kitchen. As I passed through the hallway, I heard my mother's voice. What I heard next still haunts me. My mom was telling Mauricio, "If you ever get tired of Andrea, call me." I felt my heart stop. I stood there paralyzed. Then she laughed. But it wasn't a normal laugh. It was that laugh people use when they say something completely serious but disguise it as a joke. Mauricio responded uncomfortably, saying, "Patricia, don't say that." But she kept going. She told him, "So what? You know I've still got it." I cannot explain the feeling I had in that moment. It was disgust, shame, humiliation, and something worse. I felt a sense of rivalry with my own mother. I walked into the kitchen immediately, and when she saw me, her face changed completely. I asked her directly, "What did you just say?" And she did exactly what she always does. She laughed it off. She said it was a joke, always the damn jokes. But this time, I exploded. The confrontation. I told her everything I had been holding in for years. I told her that she always competed with me, that she always needed attention, that she made inappropriate comments, and that she was crossing sick boundaries with my husband. My mom flew into a rage, furious. She told me I was crazy, that I was insecure, and that I needed therapy. And then she said something I will never forget. "It's not my fault your husband prefers talking to me." I felt as if she had slapped me across the face. I looked at Mauricio, waiting for him to say something, but he was frozen, completely frozen. And honestly, that hurt me deeply because I needed someone to defend me. I needed someone to say, "This is wrong." But nobody did. My mom ended up storming out of the house screaming, and we have barely spoken since. But that isn't the worst part. The worst part is that now I live with constant discomfort. Every time Mauricio uses his phone, I get nervous. Every time my mom calls, I feel anxiety. And I hate feeling this way. I hate it. Because I don't want to distrust my husband, but I also can't ignore the obvious. After that fight, Mauricio confessed something to me that destroyed me even further. He told me that my mom had been behaving strangely toward him for a very long time. He said that on multiple occasions, she made comments about his physical appearance, that she once told him I didn't appreciate him enough, and that months ago, she tried to hug him in an uncomfortable way when they were alone. When I heard that, I wanted to cry. I immediately asked him, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" And his answer broke my heart. He said, "Because she's your mom. I didn't want to destroy your relationship with her." Honestly, I think that was the only thing that kept me from completely collapsing, because at least I felt that Mauricio understood this was wrong. But even so, the damage was already done. Since then, I have started remembering so many things, uncomfortable moments, glances, comments. I even discovered that my mom constantly checked Mauricio's photos on social media, liking old pictures and commenting far too much. Honestly, looking back, it all seems sickening. There is something profoundly painful about feeling like your own mother envies you. A mother is supposed to protect you, not compete with you. And here comes the part I am most ashamed to admit. For weeks, I compared myself to her, with her body, her personality, her way of speaking. And that emotionally destroyed me, because no daughter should ever feel inadequate next to her own mother. My therapist told me something that left me thinking a lot. She said, "Your mom isn't competing with you for Mauricio. She is competing with you for attention." And honestly, I think she is right, because my mom always needed to feel desired, no matter the damage it caused. Currently, we are distanced. My mom says I exaggerated everything, that I turned jokes into a drama, and part of my family even thinks I am being cruel to her. But honestly, I don't know what to think anymore. Because even though nothing physical ever happened, Emotionally, I feel she crossed unforgivable lines. And the worst part is that I still love my mom. That is the most confusing part of all because you don't stop loving a mother overnight. But you also can't ignore it when someone constantly hurts you. Mauricio has tried to support me a lot. He even put distance between himself and her. He no longer responds to her messages unless it's absolutely necessary, and honestly, that has given me peace of mind. But I still feel a massive sadness, because I feel like my family no longer feels safe, and I never thought I would end up feeling that way because of my own mother. Thank you for reading me. Andrea. Wow. Honestly, this story left me thinking a lot because there is something very delicate at play here, and I want to say something right from the start. No, Andrea is not crazy. Honestly, I think many people downplay these kinds of situations because they happen within the family, but there are emotional boundaries that simply should not be crossed, and here, boundaries were clearly violated. Personally, I was heavily impacted by this phrase. If you ever get tired of Andrea, call me. Because honestly, what kind of mother says that to her daughter's husband? And yes, a lot of people use humor to disguise real intentions. That happens all the time. They say something offensive, uncomfortable, or inappropriate, and then if someone reacts, they simply reply, "It was just a joke." But not all jokes are innocent, and here there was clearly an intention to cross lines. I also want to touch upon something very important, the psychological impact. Because imagine how Andrea must feel. Your own mother, the person who is supposed to take care of you, the person who should make you feel safe, ended up making her feel insecure within her own marriage. That is incredibly heavy. And honestly, I want to acknowledge something about Mauricio. Even though he downplayed the situation at first, in the end, he did put up boundaries and distance himself. I think that is crucial because honestly, this story would have been much worse if he had fed into the attention. Now I want to ask you all some very tough questions. Do you think Patricia really wanted something to happen with Mauricio? Or do you think she simply needed to feel desired and validated? Honestly, I believe there are people who need attention in an almost sickening way, even if it destroys family relationships. And another complicated question. Would you cut ties with your mother after something like this? Because that must be incredibly difficult. You can walk away from a partner, but distancing yourself emotionally from a mother, that breaks something very deep inside. Honestly, I think a lot of people don't understand how painful it is when a parent emotionally competes with their own children. It leaves massive wounds, especially in one's self-esteem. Because Andrea ended up comparing herself to her own mother. Psychologically, that can destroy you. Now I want to read your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Andrea exaggerated? Or do you think Patricia crossed completely inappropriate boundaries? Would you ever trust a mother again after something like this? And the toughest question, what would you do if you discovered a close family member was trying to seduce your partner? I'll read your responses in the comments, and if you have stories you want to share anonymously, feel free to send them in. Because honestly, some of the worst betrayals don't come from strangers. From strangers. They come from your own family.